Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Tonight I'm doing Utah Phillips. Wonderful, wonderful human being. I wore a special shirt for him. It says, "What's disgusting? Union busting." He was a great organizer, musician, storyteller, hobo. He did it all. And I was lucky enough to see him perform in Ann Arbor. I can't remember if it was at the Ark or at the Ann Arbor Folk Festival, but just a legend. So, all right, I'm going to start off with a great song he wrote called "The Green Rolling Hills of West Virginia." Emmylou Harris did a great version of the song, and also Hazel Dickens and Alice Gerrard. They wrote the last verse. Actually, they added it to the song. I'll be doing Hazel Dickens in a few weeks, so here we go. Virginia are the nearest thing to heaven that I know. Though the times are sad and drear, I cannot linger here. They'll keep me and never let me go. My daddy said, "Don't ever be a miner, for a miner's grave is all you'll ever own." Well, it's hard times everywhere, can't find a dime to spare. These are the worst times I've ever known. Sing it with me. Oh, the green rolling hills of West Virginia are the nearest thing to heaven that I know. Oh, the times are sad and drear, I cannot linger here. They'll keep me and never let me go. So I'll move up to away some crowded city, some northern factory town, you'll find me there. Though I leave the past behind, it'll never escape my mind. These troubled times are more than I can bear. Oh, the green rolling hills of West Virginia are the nearest thing to heaven that I know. Oh, the times are sad and drear, and I cannot linger here. They'll keep me and never let me go. West Virginia, to those green rolling hills that I love so well. Yes, someday I'll go home and I'll know I'll right the wrongs. These troubled times will follow me no more. Oh, the green rolling hills of West Virginia are the nearest thing to heaven that I know. Oh, the times are sad and drear, I cannot linger here. They'll keep me and never let me go. Utah Phillips, ever the storyteller, says that he wrote that song when he was visiting someone in West Virginia, and a woman that had offered him a place to stay, I think, for the night, and she told him, he said, there's no work around here. It's, why don't people leave? Why don't they go to the city and get a job? And she said, there's something about these hills. They hold you and they won't let you go. And in the morning he woke up and wrote the song. So, kind of awesome. Utah Phillips, born in Ohio but grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, thus his hobo name. His real name was Bruce Phillips, but I went by Utah Phillips. Born in 1935 and died in 2008. Want to give a big shout out tonight to all the union folks and all the hobos, all the storytellers, all the folks that kind of have Utah spirit. Special shout out tonight to John Lewis and his awesome contribution to equality and fighting for what's right in this country. All right, this next one is called Singing Through the Hard Times, and it's kind of what we need in this time. We need to stick together. We need to be there for each other, and music is part of making it happen. So this particular song goes out to the Solidarity Sing-Along. It's part of our songbook. It's part of our repertoire. We've sung it for many, many years, and thank you, Utah Phillips, for doing it for us. So. Sometimes our living, it gets so dark and lonesome. It seems like there's nothing we can do. So we reach out to each other and we raise a song together and let our voices carry us through. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, we're singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. That's the whole thing. And when the war clouds gather, it's so easy to get angry, just as hard not to be afraid. But you know in your own heart, no matter what happens, you just can't turn your back and walk away. We are singing through the hard times, we're singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, we're singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. Together we help each other carry the light of peace within us every day. And when we can learn to live it, to walk and talk and give it, the world of peace won't be so far away. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. One more time. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. We are singing through the hard times, singing through the hard times, working for the good times to come. Thank you. Sing with me. We can do this. Singing music has been part of every people's movement throughout history, and never more important than now. So, all right, what else to say about Utah Phillips? Just awesome stories. So he was just as well known for his songs as his storytelling. Probably his most famous one is Moose Turd Pie. If you've never heard it, if you've heard it, you remember it, because it's all about the logging camp and how the person that complained about the food was the one who had to be the next cook, because no one wanted to be the cook. And so the cook had the idea, you know, if I could just make a pie out of moose turd, then somebody's going to complain and I'll lose my job. And sure enough, he does it, and everybody's eating it, and they're like, God, this is awful, you know. And one guy just says, you know, this tastes like shit, but it's good. And so he doesn't lose his job. So, all right. You may remember that Ani DeFranco and Utah Phillips collaborated on 2 albums back about, 15, 20 years ago. Also, longtime collaborator Rosalie Sorrells did a lot of Utah songs and kind of helped make his music well known. I mentioned this a few weeks ago when I was doing Buddy Holly, because I was talking about Iowa and the day the music died. But another amazing thing that happened on our first time doing Ragbri was we went through a little town called Britt, B-R-I-T-T, Britt, Iowa. Middle of nowhere, just a little railroad town. And there is the Hobo Museum, dedicated to folks like those railroaders and hobos like Utah Phillips. And I don't remember where I got this, but this is an awesome book of boxcar sing-along, and it's all songs for hobos, tramps, bums, boomers, wobblies, wanderers, riffraff, and rabble-rousers. So got lots of Utah songs in here. It was a hard choice picking just 3. He wrote some really great songs. Starlight on the Rails, I Remember Loving You, and one my friend Johnny Hardigan used to do, The Goodnight Loving Trail. So, but here we go. I do have one more song. It's a super sad song, so I hope I don't start crying, but it's wonderful. It tells a true story from the 19th century about the Orphan Train, where there was thousands and thousands of orphans in the major cities on the East Coast. Apparently at one point, I believe 30,000 orphans in New York City, and the Children's Society or whatever decided, well, they needed to be adopted, have foster homes, and they basically put them on trains and sent them out to the Midwest, to the Great Plains, all over the place. I think in Kansas there's actually a museum dedicated to the Orphan Train. So great song that Utah Phillips wrote, and I hope you sing along and hear the story of the Orphan Train. So. Once I had a darling mother, though I can't recall her name. I had a baby brother who I'll never see again. For the children's home is sending us out on the orphan train to try to find someone to take us in. Take us in, we have rode the orphan train. Take us in, we need a home, we need a name. Take us in, oh won't you be our kin? We are looking for someone to take us in. I have stolen from the poor box, I begged in the city streets. I've swabbed the bars and pool rooms for a little bite to eat. In my daddy's old green jacket and these rags upon my feet, I've been looking for someone to take me in. Oh, the children's home, they gathered us, me and all the rest. They taught us to sit quietly until the food was blessed. Then they put us on the orphan train and sent us way out west to try to find someone to take us in. Take us in, we have rode the orphan train. Take us in, we need a home, we need a name. Take us in, oh won't you be our kin? We are looking for someone to take us in. Farmers and their families, they came from miles around. We lined up on the platform of the station in each town. And one by one we parted like some living lost and found. And one by one we all were taken in. Now there's many a fine doctor or a teacher in your school. There's many a good preacher can preach the golden rule. Who started out an orphan, sleeping in the freezing rain, whose life began out on the orphan train. Take us in, rode the orphan train. Take us in, we need a home, we need a name. Take us in, oh won't you be our kin? We are looking for someone to take us in. We We're looking for someone to take us in. We are looking for someone to take us in. All right. True story. Want to remember the migrant kids at the border separated from their families right now. I'm sure there'll be songs about that in the future. So, an embarrassment to our country. All right, what else to say about Utah? And just do one shout out for that particular song. So for many years, 15, 20 or so, I've been a volunteer at WRT, especially during the pledge drive for Bill and Bobby Malone's wonderful show, Back to the Country. They have left town now and moved back to San Antonio. The show continues on. But whenever we had a pledge drive, if things were kind of going slow and just not enough calls and we weren't meeting our goal, Orphan Train was the go-to song. It's kind of a running joke around the studio. It's like, is it time to do Orphan Train? Because, we need the phones to ring, and it worked. It worked every time. People heard that song and they called up and gave us money. So, all right. That's pretty much all I have to say about Utah Phillips, except that it's just been I've honored that I got to hear him, and he lived a wonderful life and really fought for the working people and memory of the hobos and the great stories and great songs. So I do want to give one more shout out, which is that Mairead is heading back to Maine tomorrow to go back to school for the fall, and so I'm wishing her bon voyage. Also, coming up next is Odetta, great folk singer from the 50s, 60s, 70s. Another musician that I got to hear back in Ann Arbor at the folk festival. So I'll tell stories about that next time. So let's see. Today is Thursday, so that's going to be Saturday night. I'm going to do "Oh Freedom," "This Little Light of Mine," and "Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child." So I love y'all. Thanks for listening. Appreciate all this. Music is just a wonderful thing that brings us together. So take care, and I'll see you next time.